heathen bastards. Dude, can I just tell you, I just want to say, I am so grateful, dude, to my Italian ancestors for flooding the Latin American market with depictions of Italian Jesus. I cannot tell you. You'd be like, why, Elginus, to why? I don't understand. Not just because of, the like salvation and everything, but being a father to the fatherless, right? Right, dude? A friend to the friendless, right? Or a husband to the husbandless, right? All those things, dude. To the widower. Anyway, besides that, just your depiction alone has gotten me out of more shit in Latin America. I cannot tell you how many times I've been sitting in the back of a police car or on the curb or just in passing suspicioso, dude, and fucking they'd be like double take on you and oh yeah, you see people like, oh, like, you know what I mean? And I'm just like, just go, dude, just go. Right? Like considering there's never any crime, you know what I mean? Like considering I live in a place where you could be arrested for no crime. Right? It's refreshing to be able to say things like that. You can't say that on TikTok because it involves more than one person. Anytime you say anything that involves more than one person, it can be considered hate speech, even if it's not a hateful comment, because you can't target any group of people. You can target a person, but you can't target a group of people. That's just the rule. And, I mean, I agree with it. There's a lot of things to talk about this morning. The philosophy of like addiction and recovery is genius, dude. The way China approaches it. I don't know if this is like how it's always been culturally, but like just how they approach it, dealing with them on TikTok or the companies and the organizations and like their whole narrative. Because at the end of the day, dude, if it doesn't fit their narrative, you're off. And their narrative concerning alcoholism and addiction is not that when you look at that person, even if they're like drunk as you're looking at them or they're fucked up as you're looking at them, they don't look at them as an addict or an alcoholic. They look at them, refer to them. You even try to, in recovery, try to teach them, restructure their brain to not think of themselves as an alcoholic, as an addict, but as somebody that's in recovery, somebody that's dealing with something, an affliction that cycles itself in repetitions of relapse and recovery, right? Balls to the walls and then full on fucking absence or doing work on yourself or whatever. And it's a genius. It's like looking at the glass half full or half empty. How do you approach? And like considering that you're not dealing with a fucking glass, you're dealing with a human being here, human beings. It's genius. It is the way it should be. And I'm grateful that it took, that side of the planet to fucking think outside of the box than we do and have that attitude and philosophy towards it. And it's great because it allows, like, why does addiction exist at such a destructive and negative manner, but yet it creates so much revenue, right? If something's negative, it wouldn't like be able to create that much revenue necessarily. And even in the combating of it, it creates revenue. So like there's something there. You just have to look at it as a glass half full instead of half empty sort of thing. And it does something to the people that are suffering from it too. Because if you come in and tell people you're sick, you're dying of cancer, blah, 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 all the fucking self-healing and like positive and longevity that they could get out of it is probably not going to be as much because they're negative or they're down on themselves. Like, it's just true, dude. We know that because the way doctors diagnose it now is not even, they don't even like to tell people that they have expiration dates anymore like they used to. Remember when they used to tell you you have 3 months to live, you know what I mean? And then the every time the motherfucker ends up living 5 more fucking years, it's like, what do you think you did to their mind, man? During those 5 years. Like, luckily, after the first fucking year or the 3 months was horseshit, the people probably start enjoying their life again a little bit, you know, I don't know. But I'm just saying, to beat people into their brain that, like, you know, from an addiction standpoint or an alcoholism standpoint, that you're sick, you're fucked up, you're not gonna make it, or if you don't get into recovery, this or that. And it shouldn't be like that. It should be that's looking at it half empty mentality. Looking at it as this person is in recovery. Like, you know what I mean? I'm a recovering alcoholic. You're like, dude, you're drunk right now. You're like, yeah, but like, I'm not going to stay drunk for the rest of my life. Like, I'm going to go at some point, do some work, hit a meeting. You know what I mean? Like, maybe I won't drink tomorrow, or maybe I won't, if it's like that bad, you know, maybe I'll just put it off for a couple hours. Instead of 9 o'clock, I'll just, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, you know, some people that are very severe and advanced need very severe and advanced, you know, remedies. So it's different for everybody, but definitely looking at it from a half full glass instead of half empty is better. And that's how they look at it. Like, you're not an addict, you're not an alcoholic, you're in recovery. You're a recovering alcoholic, or you're a recovering addict. Even if you're drunk or high right now, it's okay. The plan is to get into treatment. Like most people, bro, unless they're really young, you could even say that. This isn't my first rodeo, dude. Wait, hold up. I've been through this before. And when I get tired of hitting my head, I'm gonna fucking, you know, get into recovery. Or a lot of times, if you're doing it right and you have that mentality and that's how it is, everybody's just in recovery and they never leave. Right? Or if they hit their head and leave, they know right where to fucking come back to. And even if that, not even for a lot of people, that is the process before they have able to experience long extended periods of abstinence, right? And so they know, bro, it's just a momentary lapse. We got to get into recovery. Dude, most people aren't even going to go through that. When you're a half full kind of thing and you're giving people what they need, what they want, because there's something wrong there. I guarantee you, if you treated, like, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Matt. I'm going to get off this subject. I don't even know how we got on this. I'm just saying, like, it's a touchy fucking slope because you can't, it's a group of people, right? Addicts, it's a group of people. So you have to take that approach, or else you're the way I just said, or else if you're doing the half empty sort of thing, where like, oh, you're an addict, or you got to be cold shoulder to these people. You can't, you know what I mean? Let them suffer. That's the only way they're going to learn. Nope. That's just a good way to fucking make it worse, really. You're not looking at it half full. They're never going to get into fucking treatment. Why would they listen to anything you have to say if you've been beating them like that? You know what I mean? If you made it available like they do with opioid, I have seen that whole industry completely change. The medically assisted treatment. Okay. I've seen it change for the better. And there's so many people in recovery, and it's not just IV needle users. There's a lot of people that had problems pharmaceutically, whole different, better, higher class of society. And it doesn't matter where you're from or whatever, everybody can fall into this trap, and everybody has a way out, dude. And it's real and it works. And like, but you have to work it. And if there's a momentary lapse, you know that you're just in recovery. It's just what happens. And right? And I know that they could do the same thing for tweakers, dude. If they wanted to eliminate it, then they could use the two ones that everybody loves so much that they prescribe to the kids. What are they called? They're called um, Adderall, Ritalin. So people that are like, the problem with tweak is it affects the center of your brain that deals with, it affects a lot of the center of your brain that deals with a lot of different things, but one of them in particular is boredom, right? So that's why tweakers like to do monotonous things that you wouldn't normally do without the drill, like crossword puzzles or, really monotonous, time-consuming things. Because on that drug, it becomes fun because it affects that part of the brain, okay? Problem solving, task accomplishment, boredom, okay? Which is, boredom is like the opposite end of the spectrum. So whenever you go up extreme, you have to come down extreme. You do something to the brain one way, it has the opposite effect, in the withdrawal. So that's one reason why tweakers have such a hard time. What I've seen, I don't have any experience with tweak, but what I've seen is that, and I know the anxiety with opioids, I know what they're going through, and I could see them in rehabs, in places. You see people do good, and then they get bored. And you could give them a million things to do. Without tweak, that looks like fucking dog shit to them. It actually becomes like a trigger. Like, yeah, I'd love to do that crossword puzzle. Thanks. If you got some tweak, like, you know what I mean? Now I just need to find some tweak. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like sex for a cocaine addict. You know what I mean? So if you could do medically assisted treatment like they do with opioid withdrawals, which is working, and like we're learning so much, you could do the same thing with the prescription pad, man, to a tweaker, and you get them on. Why they started doing that in the first place is because their brain is deficient or it's fucked up in some area, and they found something that kind of worked for them, right? It works until it doesn't, right? Like everybody in recovery says that, dude. Like I've heard that a million times. So anyway, I'm just saying, if we took that mindset, dude, the half full instead of half empty, like there are no addicts, there are no alcoholics, there are only people struggling with this disease that are in recovery. And that's it. And you stay in recovery for the rest of your life. Because without it, that it is only death and institutions, right? Like what they say. But you're not giving half of the people an option. That's what I feel bad. There's no like clinic for tweakers to go to, and there should be. You should get out the prescription pad just like you do for the opioid addicts, because it's true. Not saying for young people. Obviously, you do not get them. I think we should try with caffeine first before you move into amphetamines. But the medical community, I think it's just because they're dealing with something that they've never dealt with before, like autism. And what this is what I've noticed. Having lived outside the United States, I could tell you that people that eat highly processed foods with a lot of chemicals and preservatives, if the fucking packaging, if the ingredients is written so small because there's so many of them, and most of them are chemicals that you can't even pronounce on your third or fourth attempt, then it's not for you, dude. And it's going to do something to your fucking brain. It could be, if it's not the foods, it's plastics. But then if it was plastics, then you would be seeing a lot more autism in India and China. And I understand the numbers and the reporting might not be accurate or skewed, but I see people, bro. You see people from all over the world in certain places, especially on the internet. And I'm telling you, like here in Mexico, I don't see it that much. But when you're close to the border, dude, or it's somebody that has money and they are buying like those processed foods, because here it's like a status thing or like an ease thing. And like, yeah, they have a Walmart, but like your poor fucking person from the Puebla, bro, is not like shopping at the Walmart. You know what I mean? It's all fucking stacions. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the like the like yuppies. yuppie types, bro, that have money, big fucking time. And they're eating that shit. And you see the lady has a 12, 13-year-old autistic kid with her. They're like 12 or 13 years old. He shouldn't even fucking need supervision, right? But he's stimming and doing weird shit. And you could recognize it, right? You know what I'm saying? Like real recognizes real, right? Right? Like you say, okay, it's if it was plastics, you'd be seeing it everywhere. It wouldn't be just people that have access to these really bad foods, dude. I don't think it happened overnight. I got a Pepsi bottle. I got a Pepsi bottle outside that I found on a job site from 1981. Has the date on it, has 5 ingredients, dude. Sugar, citric acid, caramel, and carbonated water, dude. You could read them. They're right there. And I said, man, let me fuck around and find out. I went to the store right then, dude, and bought a Pepsi bottle marked 2023. And that motherfucker had like 20 ingredients, dude. Like, what the fuck? Corn syrup was not in there in 1981. Facts, dude. I got the bottle. I got it out here, right out here. I got the bottle out there, dude. I fucking look over. Hey, what's up, buds? Hey, man. So I don't know why I threw that. I just felt like I just need to throw that out there, I guess. So I was gonna like leave this up. I'm trying to like do a stream because I'm getting a good signal and I want to fucking kick it. And I'm like, and I'll just leave it up. So I got some new content because I was like, this Jeremy Epstein shit came out, and like I feel like I have a lot of material to say about what the fuck's going on because not only are we kind of like experience something sort of like that, but I'm starting to see things. And Cat Williams just dropped that interview where he basically said everything that I'm kind of starting to see, right? As somebody that's like starting to hit open mics or even just having an interest, even if you don't ever approach it, but having an interest and you're looking at things and people and stuff. And then like finding out that like people are purposely put in a fucking area and you're like, but they actually have talent. It's like, well, yeah, there's actual talent out there. Is it that far-fetched that the powers that be aren't actively seeking future casting talent that you are doing yourself too? And not only that, but when they recognize it, maybe even cultivating it or like, helping it along so that they can position it for their purpose. Or if it does happen organically, you get a hold of it and you say, hey man, we've been watching you for some time. We like what you do. We also know about this, this, and that. And you know what I mean? If you don't jive with the fucking plan, boom, this is what's going to happen. So it's like, that's how Vladimir Putin got in power, right? He was the surveillance coordinator for the KGB. And his boss, the guy that taught him everything he knows, showed him like, bro, this is real power. You spy on people that have power, and then everybody's into something, dude. And then you just expose most of these people that are powerful, like are into bad things, and you just expose or threaten to expose if they don't fucking do for you or put you in a position of power. And so that's how it was for the last elected president before they went back to the pseudo communism that they have now was Boris Yeltsin, and he had shit on him, and Boris Yeltsin appointed Vladimir Putin to be his successor. Why do you think he did that? He had no affiliation with the man. Like, he fucking did it because he had something on him and he knew it. And then once he got into power, he just keeps it that way. Now you could keep it that way. And so it's the same type shit, dude. And so this lady yesterday was on, I think it was a PDF or PD, whatever that dude is, because all this shit was getting dropped yesterday, dude, with that document drop. And so this lady was showing how Jeremy Epstein might have been positioned there by the government for the purposes of extorting people, whether it was nefarious or not, or like really evil or bad or not. It's going on, and we want to have the power and control instead of like some other fucking entity. And they've been doing this since World War II. They started officially. God, I forget the name of it. I forget the name of the project. There's actually, you could Google this, dude. And you know who they use? Meyer Lansky and Lucky Luciano. And that could be where they got their funding to start the city of Las Vegas, which is what they did, dude, after that fucking war. But anyway, they were going back and forth to Europe, and they were, the mafia was already using, they have a word for it. They call it sex conspiracy or something like that. Sex trapping, not trafficking, but they use, sexual activity in any form to trap people and get them to do what they want. They take photographs, stuff like that. And the mafia was doing it, and they had all this stuff. And so the mafia, along with the government, I guess they lent this stuff to the government so that the government could use it as leverage to get leverage over this entity or person that they both needed. I don't know for what reason, but they learned that this is a real thing. And that's when the CIA was founded and stuff, and the intelligence community. And then so ever since then, after World War II, we've had our hand in that and doing that. And then this dude appeared on the scene. And what all these people that said that they, like, for instance, Bill Gates says that he never met him prior to 2000 and whatever. And we've actually uncovered video evidence and evidence that they knew each other going way back, dude, into the 90s. And same with Clinton. He knew Epstein way back, possibly before he became president, when he was like state attorney or governor, something position of extreme power, dude. And so the government has been using or aware of this type shit since 2000. There's documents of it. I mean, since 2000, since World War II. And so going into like possibly that could be the funding or the nefarious entity behind the Epstein situation, right? It's very like compelling and fascinating, but it begs to a lot of different questions. Like, just for me personally, bro, how many people do you know? Just personally, just like stay with me here for a minute. And then here's the other thing. I like how they purposely dumped. Do you notice that the first names that they dumped were all the lamest fucking people that are incapable of sex? Like Stephen Hawking's. Like they dumped that. Stephen Hawking's and Michael Jackson were there. You know why they did that? Because those are people you would never think of. Like you wouldn't think of Michael Jackson with underage female. Like it's just not what you think of when you think of Michael Jackson. Maybe a little bit. He was wrapped up in some kind of conspiracy involving kids, so a little bit, but motherfucking, why would you dump Stephen Hawking's names first? It's just soften the blow. It's to show you, like, his dick didn't even work. And it's just a joke. The material's endless just on that. Oh, baby. Oh, yeah, back that thing up, bitch. Oh, yeah, baby. Get down on that hog. That's right. Take it like a champ. Oh, baby, when you drop it like that. Oh, yeah. Like, it's a fucking joke, dude. So it makes you like, well, Stephen Hawking, his dick doesn't even work. He's in a thing. He's like, dang. Oh, you know you want it, baby. So, like, obviously, the other guys couldn't have been up to no good. Like, Stephen Hawking was there, bro. Like, Michael Jackson was there. It's like, come on. Of course, Leonardo DiCaprio wasn't up to no good. Like, come on, dude. Like, Stephen Hawking was there, bro. His fucking dick doesn't even work. Well, Rodders, They dumped the emails, brother. And the emails talk about worse than that, dog. They were bringing in, bro, they said, I seen the word prepubescent. Um, a lot of redactions in there, my dude. That's other thing where they're like, I mean, what the fuck is that? And oh, okay. So you're going to just watch the whole thing go away. You ain't going to get any fucking names. You're getting names of people and things like, okay, but here's the other thing. This is my question to me. Like anybody that's even there, look, everybody knows everything about everybody. You know what I mean? Even like you telling me that your reputation doesn't precede you, especially in the upper echelon, there ain't too many super rich motherfuckers like you. Pretty much, you know, dude. And you're telling me that you never heard nothing about this guy. You know exactly. You heard what the fuck it was. I'm like, I ain't going out there. Hell no. Now, if you're looking for something, looking for more fame, you're looking for more money. If you're looking for something, you're fucked, dude. You're doomed no matter what. They're going to get you no matter what, because you just got to give the appearance that they have whatever it is you're looking for, and you're going to go. And that's all you got to do is just go by association, right? And I'm just telling you, bro, like if you do some really fucked up shit, you're my friend. Let's just say you're my friend, right? I have personal experience with this, right? Some of you guys may even know. Like if I have a personal friend, no, let's just say, bro, I have had a personal friend that has gotten like accused of some heinous ass shit, right? And just the accusation, like you'll understand if we don't kick it no more. You know what I mean? Like I know we were like homies and shit, but you'll understand if we don't kick it no more, right? Like if I don't like return your calls, or like I ain't taking photos with you in public, like you get it, right? Like it's nothing personal, but you understand, right? Like you know what I mean? Like now I'm gonna go kick it with you. Now we know for sure, like you have seen court documents with names and motherfuckers, and then verdicts and gavels have hit down, and that's what the fuck it is. And that whole argument about, well, yeah, innocent until proven guilty. Okay, well now you're guilty. So fucking now what, dude? Like you'll be understanding if we don't kick it no more. Am I right? Like you ain't gonna be like that. Like I could use $253 million, but me and you can't kick it, bro. Like you know what I mean? Like I'm a high profile person. There's always people following around with cameras, and like I can't do anything without pictures being taken. Like you'll understand, right? Like if I don't show up, like you know what I mean? And yet nobody had that. Now I'll tell you one even further than that I saw with that Giuliani, because there was somebody tried to trap him like a sex trap, and it worked. Because that's what I said about Jeremy Epstein either. Like you're telling me that none of those if you came to me and you were doing something super illegal, let's say you were doing something super illegal and I'm doing it too, whatever, but you got an even bigger operation, okay, and you're doing something super illegal, right? And then you come to me and you're like, hey, I got a picture of you doing this and that. I'm going to tell everybody. I'd be like, okay, go ahead, do it. I'm going to tell them right where I got it from, motherfucker. I'll give them the address. I'll give them every one of you motherfuckers in here right now. I'm snitching on all of y'all. Think I didn't have a camera too, you dumb motherfucker? I'm going to rail some motherfucker like that and not fucking film it? The fuck? Go ahead. Go snitch, bitch motherfucker. I dare you. And then they'd be like, oh, this guy can't get this guy. And in your mind, you think, okay, well, we'll get him another way. He probably already had a backup, a way that they get those motherfuckers. Because you know how I know that is true too? Or people that are into it, like, bro, you don't have to buy. I'll give you $350,000 a month just to come over here and fucking wax that ass, dude. What? Like, you know what I mean? That is what Giuliani did. I seen it. They tried to trap him, and the footage got out because he was like, okay. He was like, yeah, okay. Somebody was like, hey, you want me to suck your dick? And started grabbing his dick. He's like, yeah, he undid his pants. He's like, yeah, fuck yeah, get down on that monkey, bitch. And guess what? And then they're like, oh, wait, cut. And everybody just like, whoa, hey, oh, you know what I mean? It was meant to be like a joke, fucking weird thing because he's a lawyer. He knows he's in the most cutthroat forum of all. And he knows that. Yeah, go ahead. Call the fucking cops. What are you going to do? It's just like when you rob a drug dealer or, you know what I mean? Or a lady of the night. You're like, what are you going to do? Call the cops? You know what I mean? Right? It's like, they kind of got you, bro. You're up to no good. You're like, what happens to the stupid people on cops? You've seen them a million times. He stole my crack. They're like, you called the police to tell me this motherfucker stole your crack. You outside the in Motel 6. You know you've seen it, dude. And he's like, yeah, because there's some like, go ahead, right? Type shit. Go ahead, Jeremy. It's what everybody knows. It's right here. You're the only one with that painting, motherfucker. I'm right in front of it. Like, go ahead. Put that footage out there. So it's like, that's what Giuliani did in another thing. So I know that's what he did there. He was there a bunch of times, but they said that they burned the first one. They had that list, the Lucky Luciano and Meyer Lansky. And then they mysteriously had all that money to fucking start to build Las Vegas. Like, and according to that book, what they did with all those names and all that list of all the shit that they used to sex blackmail people and like for the war effort in our favor and the Vatican, they burned the list, dude, after. Like, well, we don't need this. And people weren't like as open about information like now, so it just went away. And only because of the Information Act, and they have to dump their documents, and there's lawyers that are savvy and on it and out there, and somebody grabbed that and just wrote a book on it, released it, and they were discussing it on a podcast, and it was fucking fascinating, dude, because it is an old trick. And he didn't have, there's no reasonable explanation for where he got his money, and it goes even older than that. Like Ghislaine Maxwell's father was the same thing. In fact, his name is mentioned in the original one from World War II, where they were doing that the first time, the United States government, by they, and funding that type of blackmail operation for political power purposes. And that's it, man. That's where there's no explanation. There's no fucking way you could trace it and be like, oh, they founded Microsoft and then they used that money to invest in several, they split it up between pharmaceutical-based mutual funds and a couple of upstarting big pharma, one of which was manufacturing of Oxycontin, and a couple of generic forms. They set up some puppet companies underneath them that produced a generic form, and they raked in billions of dollars just in that 9-year period. And then they used that to take out revocable trusts and fucking life insurance policies that they could borrow against in the hundreds of millions of dollars. Like, that would be like, okay, that makes sense. That's reasonable. That explains it. But there's no trail, bro. And the amount of money is even larger than that. Like, how the fuck did you even get bigger than Big Pharma, bro? And nobody's even heard of you. It's weird. It's crazy. It's because it's from the government. But if they don't do it, somebody else will. And it could be somebody that's worse, right? It could be somebody that's worse than the one that's, doing it now. And I don't say anything either way. But I know that if you did something fucked up, everybody's going to know about it. And you're not going to be mad at me if I don't come out. Dude, I don't even like getting in somebody's car. Think about this for a minute. You don't even like getting in somebody's car. That's why we have traffic. It's 100,000 people on the road at the same time, all of them driving 8-passenger vehicles with one person in it. Why wouldn't 80 y'all get in one car? You're going to the same fucking place. You got to build a parking lot to fill all these employees. Every one of them's coming the same place from the same place. But they had to drive their own individual shit? Yeah, because they have their own individual things that they have to do and they want to do. You don't want to be stuck at somebody else's will or behind the wheel where somebody else is going and all that. Yes, that's how life is. So you don't want to be stuck with somebody else driving, right? Everybody wants to do their own thing, and rightfully so, and everybody should. But we have to have, like, I don't know. I forgot where the fuck I was even going with that. I had like a point. I forgot what the fuck it was. On that note, I'm going to have another fucking rip. Remember that classic, dude? Whoa. Remember that motherfucking classic? Is anybody getting pelted by this weather? Bro, is this not the coldest fucking cold front that ever came through? And it's not. It's totally man-made. You know how I could tell man-made from not? Because man-made looks like it's bubbling from underneath. The clouds are just a full sheet, and it looks like it's bubbling from underneath. Because it's probably... Have you ever let a whippet out? You know a whippet? You let one of those things out, it freezes the fucking balloon. That's what it is, man. Giant fucking whippets, bro, in the upper atmosphere. You see a little white line going across. That little white line is probably the size of a fucking school bus of crystals like that fucking CO2 does. The whippet. But that fucking shit is expanding because it's compressed gas. So it's expanding and it opens up. The guy who invented it won the Nobel Prize. Beat Albert Einstein. I forget what year, but it's a Nobel Prize winner. It's be able to draw, able to chemically extract moisture from the atmosphere. You know, in other words, make clouds, because that's what clouds are, condensed moisture, atmospheric moisture. So if you spread out that line, I don't know, but anyway, I'm just saying, like, that's what you can tell, because it looks like it looks like when you put an air hose or in sand, in silica sand, you know, have you ever seen that? Or when they boil, you ever seen them do that? Like how in India, how they boil, they have a big cauldron with sand in it. That's it. And they put potatoes in it, and the moisture in the potatoes is evaporating, and it looks like the sand looks like liquid, like it's bubbling. It's actually going bloop, bloop, bloop. You've seen it too when they do it recently to make sand look like water on a tray using frequency. So that's what it looks like when they're using the frequency and the sand looks like bubbling water. That's what those underside of the clouds look like. It looks like the bubbling. It's weird. I've never seen that before. I've been working outside every day for the last fucking... I started when I was 19. I'm 48. So it's at least 29 years, 28 years every day, dude. So I know, dude. I could see, like, what the fuck. I started calling it 12, 15 years ago when they were first spraying lines. People are like, that's a contrail. Like, no, that's a contrail over there. See how it's 1 inch long and it's disappearing just as fast as it's coming out? Like the other ones, there's no disappearing. They're actually the opposite of disappear. They expand, get bigger. See that line? Now see how there's another one? Now see how it's like an X? See that little contrail over there? That's not doing that. You know what I mean? Now watch that X. Let's watch. Let's do what we're doing right now, because that's really far away. That's at least 10,000 feet away. Minimum, probably, 100,000. Because those upper atmosphere planes, bro, that's like 100,000 feet, bro. That's where no planes fly, dog. You don't see anybody up that high. Get the fuck out of here, dude. Anyway, now you do, yeah. And then okay, oh yeah, we're raking leaves, whatever. Oh, check it out now, bro. And then it's like, what? It's like even more expanding. Like, damn, like, yeah, let's go. Keep working. Now, next time when we look at it, the whole fucking sky is going to be white. Look, oh, there goes another line. Look, there you go. Yep, for sure. When we look at it again, the whole sky would be white. We'll go back to raking, do what we're doing. I'll go, oh, dude, look, check it out now, bro. And they're like, this is 15 years ago, 12 years ago for sure. Dude, I would ear beat the fuck out of you. If you were like working with me, you would be like, oh, this fucking guy. Oh my God. For real. Because I'm like, bro, what the fuck is that? Look. What? Look at that. You guys don't think that's fucking. I think it was weird that nobody else thought it was weird. You guys are all out here eating the same fucking shit, but nobody notices or cares. Like, okay. I mean, I'm not like saying to do anything about it, but it's nice to be aware. Like, you know what I mean? At least for any other reason, but to show you that like my eyes are in the right places, you might want to, you know, I might like turn you on to something you didn't know about before. I don't know. It happens to me all the time. People fucking teach me things all the time. And I'm grateful for it, I guess, right? That's what the Bible says is a wise person, somebody that appreciates a kind word of like knowledge. And a fool is the opposite. A fool hates to be fucking shown anything or be corrected or put up on game. And so how many people like that, dude? It's not everybody, but it's a fool. Few people, they'll actually get mad. Oh, hey, bro, if you lay the trash can down, it'll be so much easier. You could just scoop all the stuff. I know how to do it. I know how to do it. No, I know, but the way you're doing it is taking 5 times as long, and I gotta wait for you, fuck. I don't care about you. I just care about the part how I'm affected by you, and you're too fucking stupid to figure it out, so I'm offering you a kind word. And you're yelling at me? Fuck you. That's a fool. Somebody that despises the Bible, the actual words are they despise correction. That means you hate it. You fucking hate it. It makes you angry. A fool. That's the definition of a fucking fool, man. And it's true. I can think of so many people on so many fucking jobs. How long do you. This is my question. And I already know the answer. And that's why a lot of people walk away from Jesus like sad, like, oh, I guess I'm not following you then, bro. Fuck. Because the question's like, how much shit from people do you take? From fucking fools? And the answer is infinite, dude. Like, you take it all the way until they actually, those hands themselves, nail you to a fucking cross to death. What? Huh? But it is, dude. Like, I mean, I'd rather chew your face off and, like, if I have a preference, I'm sorry. I'd rather chew your face off than help you, but I guess that's why I need Jesus. Like, when you think about, like, yeah, you, the guy that has nothing going for himself, but hasn't had a job in almost 2 decades, has a fucking kid, a 2-story house, wander in and out of the desert, lay on a fucking beach for 5 years, like, yeah, I would say, and without God's help, like you, the fucking fool, would have done any of that? Like, no, it's okay. Like, yeah, I need God's help more than anybody. Oh, like when you say it like that, it's like, yeah, okay, I guess. Yeah, that's better than chewing somebody's face off, I guess. Like, yeah, I mean, it shouldn't even be guess, dude. It's like, okay, yeah. And what did you do? Like, you didn't do anything. You except chew people's faces off. That's like the last person that I should nail myself to a fucking wall for, right? Like, okay, well, you say it like that. But you're not going to get me on a fucking island or in the same car or photo op or anything, dude. Especially if you have a reputation for it. The fuck out of here, dude. How many people fucking. Just the fact that. Okay, but now I'm going to really do the. I'm going to dump the real conspiracy on you, what L. Joe Mistletoe thinks. And this is the real conspiracy. I think that the people behind the computer screen that are listening to this, that are spying on us, government agencies, the CIA, the fucking FBI, okay, all the people that might have found out about you or about this when they were watching this other crime go down on this channel over here, right? Or your name came up on such and we're investigating this situation. Oh, and it just so happens the motherfucker has a channel. Let's see what's going on over here. You know what I mean? Like, that guy that's doing that fucking surveillance work, I trust that dude. I trust that dude because from what I've seen, since all this shit came out a decade ago, a couple decades, they seem to be not minding the business on things that are not really affecting people negatively, and the things that are, they're hot on that ass, dude. And the people and the things that they fuck with around the globe are worthy, dude. They're fucking worthy. And the ones that they say no good, not saying that all of them, that there can't be anybody from there that's not good, but by and large, they don't. Maybe they're not good. They might be all right, but they don't gel with our way of thinking, dude, or our way of being, for the most part. Because we all have been cultivated, dude. And when you like going back to what Cat Williams is saying and what I've seen personally, and I'm like, yeah, there's nobody that's there that's not planted there by the government or have been gotten to by the government, dude. And it's all for an agenda to like they wanted us against communism, right? So you were just fed with everything was Rocky fighting Russia, communist guy. You know what I mean? GI Joe, like the little toys. Do you know like He-Man in Italy? They didn't have swords or axes, bro. There's like those are worth a lot of money too. Like the European version of He-Man, like Mattel, Kenner, all these toy companies, Fisher Price, they have versions of their toys that are sold in other countries where they're not allowed to have violence. Like, did you know the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are called? What are they called in Italy? It's it's not Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They have a different name because they're not allowed to have ninjas. The association with a cult of death, and they're not allowed to have weapons. And in America, if you watch any of the old Hasbro cartoons, the GI Joe and stuff, it was the law that if you're gonna show cartoons that are depicting fighting and warfare, every time something blows up, there has to be an immediate white parachute so that you're showing that nobody's dying, there's no death, there's no killing. And that was why they used lasers instead of bullets. Like originally, it wasn't lasers. All that stuff is military copy. Go look at the toys, which is what came first. The lasers came because it was a abstract concept that wasn't like, you know what I mean? You've never seen it going in somebody, or you know what I mean? If it shot them, they fell down, or they screamed or whatever, blew up, a parachute comes out. Go back and look. You're like, whoa, it's like subliminal little shit like that, dude. And what makes us like just more passive, dude, like you are hesitant on the trigger because of it, and like a whole bunch of other things, like which is what they wanted. or else we would have been killing each other way back before. And like other things. Okay, look, here's another thing. They were trying to meld all the fucking colors together, right? Which I fully fucking support. Is that because I'm a product of that mind control? Maybe, but whatever it is, I agree with it. I would say don't undo it. Okay, if that's how I was programmed, cool. We're better for it. And the people that, and what I'm talking about is like the blending of the colors, dude. You were bombarded with black and white being mixed together. It was family wise, right? Like you had Philip Drummond and Arnold and Willis, dude. You had Webster and the motherfucking people, bro, the white folks. And that you had fucking, you know what I'm saying? Like think about it, dude. Everything. Mr. T with the fucking white boys on the fucking A team. Like everything was like, I bet you couldn't even get a show unless it had a black and white characters, dude, equally. If okay, and it started before that. Like I said, the 60s, but is when they started hitting it hard. But you look at the shows from the 60s, 70s, Bernie Miller or whatever, the one about Bernie Miller, I think it's that. He's a fucking cop in New York City. And even Sesame Street, you see black characters of prominence in the town, like the mayor, the fucking lot the 70s was big for it. Any kind of future movie that dealt with future was like the police chief was a black dude because they were trying to get it in people's minds that like we're all equal and people just because they look different, they could still, be above you or even like excel higher. Like they could have a position of authority over where you're at. And yet they were trying to change society from the Jim Crow days and the segregation and all that old shit. And it could have come down to because we were allowing more diversity in the intelligence community and in the government after the 60s, the civil rights movement. But for whatever reason, that is some shit we could see. It was bombarded on media. And now your generation is much less likely to be prejudiced, Gen X, as opposed to boomers. Facts, dude. They were not hit with that kind of shit. Maybe they started to introduce it, right? But it was too much for them. So they had to like use a Latino first, right? Lucy and Ricky. They weren't allowed to sleep in the same bed. They had two separate beds, even though they were a married couple. Go look at the fucking show. Because they were, before the 60s, it was about puritanical beliefs. And it was a whole different situation, dude. And we were being asked to step up on the world stage, dude, and that's it. They wanted a clean-cut image of Beaver. But if you look at that, this is why I say that the people of powers that be, dude, are good people, dude. Even so, because look, even if you ever go watch the old Leave It to Beaver episodes, right, black and white, which is heavy mind control, dude, Ward Cleaver is a fucking good dude, man. He's a fucking good dude, man. Like there's episodes, bro. This is what they were putting out there. Whether it's mind control or not, whether it's the government or not, dude, somebody with enough power that was making network television shows was like, this is the episode. And the episode was a dude came around, a painter, and he had painted their fucking house before, and he had come around again. And Ward's like real cool to him. They have real good rapport and everything like that. And the painter befriends Beaver. He's like, what you doing, mister? And he's like, that kind of shit. And he befriends him. He has him helping him. And Dad's like, oh, this is great. I'm glad to seeing you do so good, Jim. Boy, you had a rough go on that. Well, it's all behind us now. Good, great. You know what I mean? You're like, oh, wow, okay, cool. What's going on here? And then Beaver finds him. He's passed out, dude, on the ground. And there's an empty booze bottle, bro, right next to him. And the dad's like, oh, I think Jim just all worked himself plumb tuckered out there, son. Let's just get him over here. You go on in and tell your mother, ask her if supper's ready, and we'll get. And he fucking rolls the dude up and whatever. And then the episode's about him fucking the guy just ties one on, dude. And then he gets the house painted and everything cool and everything like that. But it's the fucking shit climaxes with Beaver asking him like, Dad, what's wrong with Mr. fucking so-and-so? And the dad has to break it down, dude. And it's like, whoa, man. He tells him like some people, they can't drink Beaver, and they can't just have, some men just can't have just one drink. Like, I'm telling you, like, this is a conversation he had. He's like, yeah, but Dad, if that's the case, then why'd you help him? Why did you have him, paint the house? He said, well, Beaver, you know what? Because he's a good man. And he wasn't drinking when he came around. And I think everybody needs a shot. And boy, he did a good job, didn't he? And he's like, sure did, pal. And he's like, I know he was your friend, and I know it hurts when it's like that. But that's why when he comes around, you let him paint the house, whatever, and. And he was like, okay, like that was the episode, but it was like, I was just like, damn, bro. Like, it wasn't like beat this motherfucker down or fuck him up. You know what I'm saying? Like, Ward Cleaver, like, gave him a job. Like, I'm a contractor like that. You know what I mean? Not gets drunk and alcoholic and shit, but I mean, like, I know what it's like to have customers, and, you come and provide a service every couple of, sometimes it's regular, sometimes it's every other year, every couple of years, but you know what I mean? And like, to see, and like, people's personality types and stuff, and see that Ward Cleaver was that guy. He was written to be that kind of guy. It was like, that's good shit. That's what they were making people look at and listen to and be engulfed by back then. That was the way they wanted the society to fucking function. And same thing with Andy Griffith, dude. Remember, Andy Griffith had a town drunk, dude. Remember? There was a jail cell in Andy Griffith's show that it was just for that town drunk. That was his room. He would even go, home sweet home. Like, I think when he got in there, whatever, he didn't even lock the door. Remember? Andy Griffith never even shut the door because he knows this motherfucker ain't going nowhere. And not only that, but he only got picked up or whatever because he gets too drunk and he's somewhere, and we can't leave him in Maryberry like that. So Andy brings him to the thing, and when he wakes up, I've even seen it where they already have a routine. He's like, is there coffee? And he's like, where is it? It's on there. Like, just like same as last time. Huh? It's true, huh, Buzz? Because that's how they wanted people to think back then. It wasn't like as hostile, dude. I even seen one, I swear to God, dude. This is how I love these fucking people, man. The writers, the people that say like, dang, man, where did you go wrong, Hollywood? Somehow the devil was not controlling it back then. You know what I mean? Like, bro, there was an episode where these two old ladies had a fucking alcohol still, and they were like, I don't remember what happened, bro, how Andy got involved, but I don't know, fucking, they said, Papa's medicine machine is malfunctioning. We need somebody that can help it. And then he gets over there. I don't know if it was Barney or somebody. He's like, this is a fucking alcohol still. What the fuck? And they're like, thinking like, are these ladies fucking with me? But they were really just ignorant. They're like, oh yes, his alcohol. He just he had to have, no, they didn't say alcohol. They said, oh, Daddy, he made the best medicine. I can't hardly get on along without it. Really. I'll tell you, boy, I had the worst headache, Andy, the other day, and boy, if it wasn't for Papa's medicine, I'll tell you what. I was like, oh shit. And they're like, we better fix their fucking medicine machine, and they're gonna be fucked. And she's like, yeah, we're down to the last of Papa's batch before he passed on. Once that goes, we don't. And they're like, fuck, dude, I don't know, or it was the ATF or something. I don't know, man. But somehow Andy got involved, and they're like, you need to take this fucking thing, man. This is illegal. And Andy Griffith, he says, if there's no evidence, there's no case. That's what it was. The feds came and they said, we're busting these old grannies. They're doing illegal shit. He said, you have to keep the still and the liquor safe. Take it to your jailhouse, because if there's no still and no liquor, there's no case. Or it wasn't even the still. I think it was, if there's no liquor, then we ain't got a case. And they didn't know no better. They thought it was Pa's old medicine, right? So he's like, man, you ain't going to put no charge, the ATF and all this shit. And so he goes, I know what to do. He goes, put it in there, Barney. And it was that drunken town drunks sell, man. He's like, yeah, but Andy, he goes, and he's like, oh, and he put it in there. And then the motherfucker walked in by himself, the drunk, like the next day. So he says, well, should I go pick him up, Andy? Should I go look for him? He goes, no, yeah, Otis will be around. And he goes, and sure enough, the motherfucker comes in the next day like, oh, and he just fucking goes into he grabs a newspaper on the field, like Andy just without even looking, just like hands it, hold it up like the no look pass, like they'd done this so many times before. And the motherfucker goes in there, gets the thing, goes in there, and then you hear like the cup go blang, 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 like he like dropped it, and then he looked. They did a close up or something like that, and it was like just his eyes. He's like, Andy, like googly eyes. It's like, is it Christmas? Is it my birthday? And he's like, well, what do you mean? And he's like, well, never mind. And he goes back in there, and then like I think like Barney came. He's like, hey, did so? And he's like, all you hear is like laughing and singing in there. Oh, and he's like, oh, I think it's gonna be all right, Bard. And then the fucking dang man, it was hilarious. And then the feds came, and they're just like, what the fuck? And the drunken motherfucker is passed out on the floor. The empty jug. Yeah, like we got no case to leave. That was an episode, man, of Andy Griffith, bro. And I'm just saying, like, if that's your government, bro, that's writing that shit, and Arnold and Willis, bro, and fucking and Mr. T Dog and fucking, you know what I mean? And Rocky, bro, they telling you Rocky pound these motherfuckers, G.I. Joe pound these motherfuckers. Like,